5 abandoned places you should never visit. You won't believe what some places. These abandoned locations are not just forgotten by society, they carry terrifying secrets and dark histories that will send chills down your spine. From haunted islands to eerie forests, each of these places has its own horrifying story, often linked to tragedy, death, or curses. They are known for their danger, both physical and psychological, and most people would never dare to step foot in them. These 5 locations are some of the most frightening yet intriguing abandoned places on Earth. They lure in thrill seekers and urban explorers, but not without a heavy price. If you thought exploring old ruins could be exciting, think again. Some of these places carry a darkness so deep that they might change you forever. Here's why you should never visit them, no matter how adventurous you feel. Number 1. Island of the Dolls, Mexico. Let's start our journey in the heart of Mexico, on an island that has earned a notorious reputation, La Isla de las Muñecas, or the Island of the Dolls. Located in the canals of Xochimilco, a short boat ride from Mexico City, this place may seem like a quiet, mysterious escape. However, there's something deeply unsettling about it. The history behind the Island of the Dolls is tragic. The story begins with Don Julian Santana Barrera, a man who lived on the island in the mid-20th century. Legend has it that he discovered the body of a young girl who had drowned in the canal. Stricken with grief, Julian believed the girl's spirit haunted the island, and to appease her, he began hanging dolls from the trees. As years passed, Julian collected more and more dolls, creepy, decaying figures with missing limbs, blank stares, and hair matted from years of exposure to the elements. Over time, the dolls grew more and more disfigured, adding to the sinister atmosphere of the island. Visitors who dare step onto the Island of the Dolls are often overcome with an eerie sensation, as if the dolls themselves are alive, their cold, lifeless eyes following every movement. The air feels thick with an unnatural presence, and many claim to hear unsettling sounds, whispers carried by the wind, faint cries of children, or the distant sound of dolls' limbs clattering together in the stillness. It's not just the dolls that haunt this forsaken place, it's the lingering spirits of the past, trapped within the decaying figures, forever watching, forever waiting. The Island of the Dolls is far more than a creepy attraction. It's a cursed and supernatural realm where the past refuses to stay buried. Number 2. Poveglia Island, Italy. Next, we're traveling to Italy, to a small island that lies in the Venetian lagoon, Poveglia Island. While Venice is known for its beautiful canals and romantic ambiance, Poveglia is something entirely different. It's one of the most infamous abandoned places in the world, known for its dark and haunting past. Poveglia's history begins in the 18th century, when it became a quarantine station for the bubonic plague. The island was isolated from the rest of Venice, and during an outbreak of the plague, thousands of people were sent here to die. But the island's dark past doesn't end there. In the 1920s, a mental asylum was built on Poveglia, and many believe that the spirits of the tormented patients still haunt the island to this day. Visitors and ghost hunters have reported disturbing experiences, strange, unexplained noises, visions of shadowy figures, and an overwhelming feeling of dread. Some claim to have felt like they were being touched by unseen hands or heard voices calling out their names. The island is completely off-limits to the public as it remains in a state of disrepair, with decaying buildings and overgrown vegetation. It's a place that embodies the horror of its past, a reminder of disease, death, and suffering. Number 3. Aokigahara Forest, Japan. From Italy, we make our way to Japan, home of the infamous Aokigahara Forest, also known as the Suicide Forest. Nestled at the base of Mount Fuji, Aokigahara is a dense, dark forest that has become synonymous with tragedy. Over the years, it has gained a reputation as a place where people go to end their lives, with reports of hundreds of suicides occurring here every year. What makes Aokigahara particularly chilling is its eerie silence. Unlike other forests, Aokigahara has very few animals or birds, and the trees are so dense that there's almost no wind, creating an unnatural stillness. People who have ventured into the forest have reported a feeling of isolation, as if the forest itself is alive and trying to draw them in. Many who enter the forest get lost, with some saying that the paths are disorienting, leading them deeper into the woods where they lose all sense of direction. Aokigahara Forest, or the Suicide Forest, is shrouded in a disturbing mystery. Why do so many choose to end their lives here? Is it the forest itself that calls them, or is there something more sinister at play? The dense trees, the unnerving silence, and the disorienting paths seem to draw people in, making them lose all sense of direction. But is it just the darkness of the forest? Or could something more malevolent be pulling them deeper into its depths? Some claim to hear footsteps behind them, feel an overwhelming sense of dread, or experience strange sensations they can't explain. Are these the restless spirits of those who've died here, or is the forest itself feeding off the pain and sorrow that lingers in the air? Aokigahara isn't just a place of death. It's a haunting enigma that many say should be avoided at all costs. Number 4. Akodasewa Fetish Market, Togo. Next, we're heading to Africa, to the heart of Togo, where you'll find the Akodasewa Fetish Market, a place that is as unsettling as it is fascinating. This market is the largest of its kind in West Africa, offering various items used in traditional voodoo practices. The market is filled with animal skulls, bones, and other objects believed to have spiritual power. It's a place where dark rituals are performed, and many locals believe that the spirits of animals and ancestors are invoked for healing, protection, and even curses. For outsiders, the sight of dismembered animal parts, dried herbs, and strange talismans can be shocking. The Akodasewa Fetish Market is not only a place for voodoo rituals, but it also has a deep connection to the cultural practices of the region. However, the market's eerie atmosphere and the sense that something powerful is at work can make visitors uneasy. Many people report a feeling of being watched, as if the spirits of the objects in the market are alive. It's important to note that while voodoo practices hold cultural significance in parts of West Africa, the energy in the market can feel unsettling, especially to those unfamiliar with the rituals performed here. Whether you believe in the power of these objects or not, there's no denying that Akodasewa is a place where the line between the living and the spiritual world feels incredibly thin. Number 5. Bhangar Fort, India. Finally, we arrive in India, to one of the most haunted places in the world, Bhangar Fort. Located in the Rajasthan region, this fort has long been the subject of legends and ghost stories. According to local folklore, the fort was cursed by a wizard who fell in love with the princess of Bhangar. When the princess rejected his advances, the wizard placed a curse on the fort, causing it to eventually fall into ruin. Bhangar Fort is a place where nightmares seem to come alive. The air is thick with an unsettling energy, and the sheer number of ghostly encounters reported by those who dared to step inside is enough to send chills down your spine. Locals whisper about the blood-curdling sounds that echo through the night, the eerie wail of women, the rattling of chains, and the faint footsteps of unseen visitors moving through the crumbling walls. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures, pale and ominous, gliding through the ruins as if they never left. In fact, the terror is so real that in 2002, the Indian government had no choice but to declare Bhangar a no-entry zone after dark, warning anyone who dared to approach that the fort is not just dangerous, it's cursed. The chilling stories passed down through generations only add to the horror that surrounds the fort. The air is thick with a sense of foreboding, as if the spirits of the past are still trapped in the decaying walls, waiting to make their presence known. While no official records prove the curse, the unexplainable sounds, the ghostly figures, and the oppressive atmosphere speak for themselves. If you value your sanity, it's best to avoid this cursed place, especially after the sun sets. Bhangar Fort isn't just a fort. It's a realm of restless spirits, trapped in a never-ending nightmare. So there you have it, 5 abandoned places you should never visit. From the haunted island of the Dolls in Mexico to the chilling Bhangar Fort in India, these locations are best left untouched. The world is filled with places that are shrouded in mystery, and while some may be intriguing, others should remain hidden in the shadows of history. Which of these places did you find the most terrifying? Have you ever visited any abandoned spots yourself? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more spine-chilling stories. Stay safe, and remember, some places are better left alone.